Oh, good evening. I'll just make sure I can hear everything okay on this end. Yeah, all seems well. Let's have a check. Good evening. I'll just make sure I can hear everything okay. Oh, there we go. I can hear me. Oh, but not yet in the Facebook. I can hear me. So I was just looking at something else on that. There we go. Natasha Stanley is here. She says, hi, everybody. All good. Brilliant. Thank you, Natasha. How are you? I'm a bit pink tonight. There we go. Andre's here as well. This is a Christmas special. It's a weird time of year. So this week and next week, I've not got guests on for the simple fact of it's that kind of weird Christmassy time. But we've got some other great guests lined up for the new year starting in January as well. But we're going to be changing things up a little bit in January. When we first started this nearly 2 years ago now, I kind of thought only COVID was going to last for a couple of months, and I'm sure you guys agree it lasted a little bit longer than that. But here in the UK, we've kind of just gone, or it looks like we might be going back into some kind of restrictions, which restricts our shows and stuff. So, I mean, going forward, we've still got a couple of great world-class guests due to join us. We're just sorting out the times and dates for those people as well. It's to get them right. And we've had a good mix of new hypnotists as well on the streams, because it's about kind of sharing all that different bless her. Yes. It's about getting different people and the different perspectives about their performing hypnosis, what they've done in their careers. And it's great to get some of the kind of the old guard, those that have been doing it for 50 years, and this is how it should be done. And, there's some great legends that have been on the show already. But it's also nice to hear from people that are new. And it was great to have Tony Charles on a couple of weeks ago, who's very new to stage hypnosis. In fact, it was at a training that Christopher Caress put on a couple of months ago, and it's great to see someone that's gone from that kind of level, gone through the training, and then done a show, put on a great show, and then delivered a great promotional video as well. So it's interesting to look at the different perspectives that people are having from that as well. And it's always interesting for me to manage the comment section as well. And it's weird because I think we've developed quite a bit of a nice community of hypnotists here as well. Natasha being one of those as well, who, nobody knew of Natasha 18 months ago, and now she's everybody's best friend, bless her. I know she works with some of you guys as well to help you with your promotions and stuff that you're doing as well. So that's a great thing. And it's been great to kind of connect with some really great hypnotists around the world as well. Another example of Jeff Bennick there, a great guy from the Netherlands. And for me, it's been nice to connect with all these people and people that are in the same space that I am, that are going through the same stresses, the same worries, the same concerns, the same triumphs as well. We all kind of know what it's like, those feelings of going out there and performing and putting yourself on the line. Colin Chapman, fantastic guest last week as well. Hey there, Grant Saunders. Yes, interviewing Natasha Stanley with the questions coming from the rest of us. Yeah, I think I'd charge for that one, where you guys could ask Natasha anything. Yeah, bless. But yeah, so it's been interesting to kind of bring the kind of world of stage hypnosis a little bit closer, because we are all out performing normally and doing our own things, and it can be quite a lonely business, really. And I don't even know about hypnosis 18 months ago. Now I'm in regular contact with some of the best hypnotists in the world. Currently, absolutely. And that's, do you know what? That's the great thing about, or one of the great things for me that's come out of the pandemic, is my small world has got a bit bigger. We can reach out and connect to people all over the world. And there's some great people that have expressed interest in being on the show and being interviewed and telling their story as well. But from this, as we go into 2022, I want to add more weight to the show. Not just about people telling their stories as well. I want to hear from you guys of who you want back on and what things you want to know about as well. I know there's lots of resources out there there's lots of books, there's lots of trainings, there's lots of stuff out there to help you develop. But I think this would be quite a nice platform to help us as a community promote stage hypnosis, things that we're doing to develop that. So, if you have got some good news that you want to share on the show, or if you've got some trainings coming up or some stuff that you would recommend, books that you've read, all of this stuff, I think it's a great place where we can help grow the community as well. And there's lots of people that are involved in this show behind the scenes as well. I get regular feedback from some fantastic world-class hypnotists on their opinions of guests and comments and questions and stuff. So again, going into 2022, I'd love to hear tactics for creating new skits. Absolutely. So glad you kept with this, Grant. Great commitment. Paul, do you know what? And you were one of the people that inspired me in the beginning of this as well. And Paul is a guest I would absolutely love to have back on as well. Because again, it's interesting to see where we're all at and where we have, our battle wounds for over COVID. I know my bookings have been down dramatically, but I've still managed to get some shows done. And I've had lots of learnings from that. And so it'd be interesting to see what other people have discovered and what they're going to tweak about their business. I know I was speaking to a good friend of mine that does a lot of SEO stuff, and he's like, Grant, you need to actually look at your website. And he's been pointing out some really major things that I was letting fail on my website, because my website was never been a major source of bookings for me. It's always been through referrals, social media, and that type of thing. But then when you look at it, it's like, oh, there's a massive issue there which can be dealt with. So again, that could be a topic for a show further down the line on stuff like marketing, on stuff you could do for your website, on your social media, paid for ads, really about I got back on tour in August and caught a breakthrough case of COVID whilst I was touring. I haven't worked since. Wow, brutal. But at least you've had it now. How are you kind of coming out the other side of COVID? I know I'm hearing two different types of stories. Some people are back to their normal health-ish, and other people are still feeling like a sense of breathlessness after having had it. I know I've just had my booster the other day, as soon as I became eligible for it. And that put me on my ass for 2 days, because it was hard work. I've not had COVID yet, which is weird because I've been out there doing shows and meeting people. I'm okay now. Fantastic. And it's these downtimes when we're not working and we're not out there performing, it is times when we can, and I can imagine there's a lot of guys out there that are going to lose momentum, kind of lose that desire and that push to be out there gigging all the time. And we don't want to lose some people that are fantastic for the industry. So, yeah, that was one of the topics I proposed to present at Hypno Thoughts. They selected a different topic for me. Would be open to doing that in another form, whether on Grant's podcast or something. Absolutely, Colin. That would be great to kind of, really touch base on that. Because I do want this to give value. It's not just an ego project. I think it started off as an ego project. It started off as a way of me kind of fixing my mental health because I needed to do something. I've had a flu jab in one arm, a booster in the other. Oh, wow, at the same time. Yeah, there we go. Sorry I'm late, was working on the Christmas video for my church. That's something I've, not so much for the church, but video's been a big thing for me. I very much shied away from video or from putting my head above the parapet when it came to stage hypnosis. I was happy to just be in my lane, just do my shows. And for me, it was a case of, as long as I was earning a living out of it and I was happy out of it, I didn't want to change the world. And I was very lucky in that sense. Since COVID's happened, I very much had to push towards video, as a lot of people have with live streaming, Zooms and all that lot. And I thought a lot of that was behind us. But, here we are in the UK again, and it's looking like we may be getting back to that stuff as well. We all love what you have put on here, Grant. To be fair, I'll take credit for a little bit of it, but it's not me. It is you guys that have done this. It's the absolutely amazing experts and professionals in this industry that are happy to share their time. And for some people, they're getting a message from some British hypnotist they've never heard of, asking them to come on a live stream. And I get it, for some people, they've not got the time to put into that. But I've been very lucky, or we've been very lucky, that some of the top people in the industry have put aside 40 minutes of their afternoon sometimes, or morning, to share their story. Because one thing I've noticed is the people that are at the top of their game are the people that are happy to share their information. They're not precious about it, because they're not going to lose work by it, because a rising tide raises all ships. Natasha Stanley, I don't mind taking credit. Alana Jones taking shots and scoring points. There we go, yeah. Who's the guy in the bowler hat behind you? It's my phrenology head. Colin Chapman, that's what I'm here for. And do you know what? It's been great for you guys to take the mick at me, because that's, we are entertainers, we are sarcastic, we are quite dry, and it's been good fun in that sense. It's been nice to understand the sense of humour behind the Facebook posts. I know in some of the forums I've known of a lot of these people for a long time, but in actually speaking with them, speaking backstage and engaging with them, there's some absolutely amazing senses of humour and some really nice, genuine people out there. And it's weird, because what we see a lot of the times on the forums is a lot of the backbiting, a lot of the bitching, a lot of the fighting. But I think a lot of that comes from a good place, to be fair. There's a lot of people that are very protective over the stage hypnosis community. There's a lot of people protective over their own finances, and what they don't want is people out there doing a bad job and affecting everybody. So I think, again, that's why these people have been happy to share. And one thing I've loved about this is that, there we go, phrenology head, phrenology, PH. By the way, yeah, like phrenology is, I think it's been proven that it's just absolute quack. There's nothing real to it, but it just looks nice in the back. What was I saying? So these people are happily sharing their stuff, and they're genuinely good people that really do want to share their stories and help everyone else in the community. And we've picked up some people like Lana, like Natasha, that have discovered hypnosis and created friendships through this as well. Natasha seems better at making friends than most people I know. But do you know what? If there's a lesson to be learned from that, she's made some great connections and great friendships of some of the best people in the world at hypnosis, just by being open and by talking to them and being genuine and authentic. And a lot of the people that have come on this show, experts, true legends within the hypnosis industry, they've happily shared their horror stories, their challenges, the worst shows they've ever done, and what they've learned from them. And I think that's so important, because on the groups, there's so many egos sometimes where we get caught up with it, where people are saying about how wonderful, I've never had a bad show, never had a bad show. When the reality is we all have bad shows. We all have bad live streams. Sometimes you stand on a wire and it gets unplugged. It's how we learn from that and how we come back from that is so important. And between us, between everybody that is involved in these live streams and the people that have been involved in the past, the amount of knowledge and experience that we've got is absolutely amazing. I'm being picked on again, I believe. Grant, yes. As Natasha said, I'm still open for more friends. Just send me a message. Oh, there you go. Now you've opened the floodgates, Natasha. Bless her. So going in 2022, we've got some of the guests coming back in, and hopefully Paul will be one of those as well. It'd be nice to talk to him about his experience of touring and coming down with COVID as well. It was great to watch Paul's kind of like mobile home RV, I don't know what you call it over here, adventure as well. So again, interesting to kind of learn where we're at now. A lot of the guests we had on early doors were very similar to me. We didn't think it was going to last as long as it has. And a lot of people have really had to pivot, to really have to change. This year, financially, it was a car crash for myself. And luckily I managed to just pull that back towards the end of the season. And I lost a little bit of quite a lot of my Christmas season with Boris kind of implying that, we're going to go into another lockdown. So a lot of bookers, a lot of corporate were very nervous about that. So that's made a big difference. Alana Jennings, pivot. Yes, a lot of people have had to pivot, had to change. And it's forced a lot of people to embrace this new technology. It's forced people to kind of go from being hypnotherapists, seeing people in an office, to live streaming and Zooming and seeing clients that way. I know a friend of mine is talking about doing some stuff in the metaverse and kind of creating a meeting space in virtual reality where apparently you really get that connection that you don't get on Zoom. So, there's lots of stuff that's out there, but the world is going to be a very different place. I don't think we're ever going to lose that fear of the next virus. I think a lot of the media outlets out there next year or the year after, when COVID has gone, when there's a sniff of any type of other viral infection, it's going to be on the front page of the social media, the newspapers, because it's good clickbait. It gets people interested, it gets people involved, and it scares people, unfortunately. There we go. Jeff Bennett added you. We are in a lockdown again and now trying the online route. See, that's the thing. Yeah, in the Netherlands, they're now locked down again. Wales, I was talking to Jason Morgan, and I saw another Welsh, which is Jason Simons. The Welsh government's on complete lockdown for nightclubs and hospitality. That's now closed again. Scotland, here in the United Kingdom, I've just heard they're now back on kind of a lockdown as well. We're told it's not going to happen in the UK before Christmas, but I think that very much means we may be seeing it just after Christmas. We're going to have a circuit breaker. But in the UK, the last time I had a circuit breaker, it lasted about 3 months. So, yeah, COVID 2.0, the online version. Well, I mean, that's the scary thing. We've got all this stuff going on outside, but imagine if something happened to the internet as well. I don't think people would have been able to have coped as well as they had done if it had not been for being able to live stream their friends and do that type of thing. But it's been interesting. There's lots of positives for me. For me personally, I really doubled down on live streaming and creating video and putting content out there, because I've spent a long time on the road just doing it and been afraid to actually put it out there. Because I think a lot of hypnotists, a lot of entertainers, a lot of anything really, once you record it and you put it out there, it's fixed and it's real, and it can be critiqued and criticized. And I'm sure there's people out there that can't stand to see the notification come up when it says that I'm live again, but it's okay because they're not my audience. Hopefully, by putting value out there, people will take something from this and learn something from all the guests that's come on. I was looking earlier. I'm going to put up a link just so if you've not seen it, you can do. Let me just, it still says Colin. Change that to live. I've just put a link in the comment section there. And if you have a look through the list of people that have shared their time, their experience, their stories, their golden nuggets, it is an absolutely amazing list of people on that list there. Paul Ramsey, yeah, absolutely. I think it's time to start having serious conversations about how to evolve stage hypnotism into something that doesn't happen on stage. The signs that it needed to happen were there before the pandemic, but it's just accelerating the need. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of stage hypnosis being on stage, but I don't think stages and audience are going to be what they were. When we came out of the last lockdown, I was very fortunate to have a few shows booked in and they went really well. But I think people, they were so busy to go back to normal that they were just acting as if it was normal. I do think hypnotism, stage hypnotism, does need to evolve. And I don't know how that works, how that happens. I don't believe you can get the same connection through a screen like this. But again, looking at the metaverse stuff, That might be an interesting way to do that through the virtual reality and Oculus stuff. But watch this space. I'm sure I'm not the only person that's looking at doing stuff within that realm, but hopefully that might come from something. Are you using your new lens? Yes. Uh, yes. I got myself a new, talking about tech, this lens here. Watch how quick it change. There we go. I got a new 22 mm lens for the camera, which just gives a really shallow depth of field. I can be close up against that wall and it'll still be blurry background. Because again, for me to evolve, I've been looking at different lights, different cameras, how to change things. I'll come back on and we'll suss it out. Absolutely, Paul. Let's sort out a Thursday in January, because I think January needs to be really about how we can start the new year and tackle stage hypnosis and performance hypnosis the best way that we can. Natasha says she has a few interesting ideas in the pipeline. Brilliant. Used to love golden nugget cereals. Could definitely eat some. Yeah, it's interesting to go through the previous guests, and they've all got that golden nugget, and we never reached a point where it was being repeated. Everybody kind of had a real nugget of information that can really help and develop your show, whether that be the marketing of it, whether that be the delivery, the presentation, or anything like that. Best and worst interviews you've had this year. Cheers for that, Richard. For me, one of my favorite interviews was, I don't know. See, there's different elements to it. I thought the interview with Larry Garrett was phenomenal. I think the story about being in the palace in Baghdad when the planes hit the towers, just unbelievable for me. So that was an honor to kind of do that. One of my favorite interviews, Kaz Ryler, because she's a friend of mine, so it was nice to do that. Worst interviews. There's been a couple. I wouldn't say worst interviews, but sometimes you just don't connect as well with some people. But I think the worst ones are the ones where people have not been able to turn up for whatever reason. And in the early days, with it being live, completely threw me, and you're panicking as to what to do. Now I've just learned to waffle. Natasha Sandler says Tom Silver. Tom Silver was a great interview. Again, hopefully we'll get him back on so he can finish his story. That was one that could have gone on for hours. Brenda Kay was another great interview. I love the interviews from people that are just genuinely happy to share their stuff. They're not protective over it. Larry's just a beautiful person and such a wealth of experience. Absolutely. And again, early interviews with yourself, Paul, Jim Kellner, who I spoke to earlier, who's coming back on in January as well. Chris Doc Strange, who's fairly local. I say locally, she's in the United Kingdom. Really great guy and a great interview as well. Michael Johns, of course. Michael Johns is, for me, just such a great guy, such an icon within the industry as well, and so humble with it. For me, that was do you know what I mean? I say man crush, that's the wrong word, Michael. If you're watching, it's not like a man crush, but for me, that was such a moment to get him on as well. Michael's a great guy. Yeah, and through this, we kind of got to know him really well since he is so special. Yes, yeah, I know you guys are really close now, and yes, Michael Johnson. How do you make it live, funny, and not just look like a setup video? The things people love most, if it's someone they know and they realize they're doing things they normally would not do. Absolutely. And I think that's the thing. And for me, that's why stage hypnosis on television never, I mean, it works, but people always know that there's an element of fakery in that. And when I say fakery, what I mean is the selection process, because it's so expensive to film, the selection process is so overdone. The people on stage or on television, it looks so fake. And a lot of the people tend to be people that are looking to be like on Star Now or Model, all these types of websites in order to get their name out there. It's so easy to pick fault in it. What I find special about stage hypnosis, and what everybody else finds special about stage hypnosis, is the fact of, like Andre just said, when you're looking in the whites of the eyes of your friend, a person you know, and you see them get kind of overwhelmed with the suggestion, and then they carry on with it. It's trying to create that on this format, where there is that detachment when it's through the screen. I've already told you, a complete fangirl over him. Not fangirl, fanboy. So there you go. So, yeah, so I mean, also I'd like to look at different elements of a show and get on people that are experts on that particular bit. This is not going to be a stage hypnosis training thing, not by a long shot. But it would be nice to get someone to come on and talk about the breakdown of their pre-talk, or a breakdown of pre-talks and the importance of them, on the development of skits. One of the things that's very apparent from getting lots of experts on this show is, there's a lot of people that do very similar things, but it's only through experience and knowledge, when you look at it, you can see the differences. But to a newbie watching these skits, they will see just the same thing. They will see a voodoo monkey. They will see a hot and cold routine. They will see a giggle routine, or whatever it is. It's the nuances that make the difference. So it would be good to dedicate maybe a show a month just on development, on little things that make a bigger difference in the show. And again, maybe looking at lighting, at visuals, at sound, and also looking at that towards live streaming as well, because I do think there is going to be more of this involved now. There is going to be more of an element for people, even audiences, to watch shows as a live stream from the safety of their house as well. Yeah, bless Jeff. So what's the score now, Jeff? How long are you guys actually in lockdown for? Is there any news about when it will be finished and coming out? And obviously, is that affecting shows over there? So yeah, so if you know someone, and here's the thing as well, if you know someone that has a great story to tell, that you think should be on this show, then let me know, or let them know as well. I know there's a couple of really great hypnotists that, because I'm not necessarily connected with them, I've sent them a couple of messages asking them to come on the show, but I can see they've not been opened or read because I'm in their others folder. And so, I mean, I don't know every hypnotist, but you guys, we've got people that watch this from all over the world that know people that are great. So if you know someone who's got a story to tell, or a golden nugget that you think is relevant and can help people, then get in touch with them to get them on the show. Richard Cole, who is your dream hypnotist you'd love to have on besides me again? I mean, Richard, you set the bar so high. My dream hypnotist is a hypnotist with good internet from Canada. There's a couple of people I've reached out to that I would love to have had on. Peter Powers, phenomenal hypnotist. I did reach out to Peter, and he sent me a really nice message back, basically saying thanks but no thanks, but in a really nice way. And Peter just wants to do his lane, doesn't want to get involved in the industry of stage hypnosis that can be quite out there. Michael Johns was my dream guest, and he very much came on and shared his story. That was great. Mark Savard, obviously, Justin Trance, I spoke to Justin a couple of times. We're just trying to sort out those dates. Justin is, as you know, is an absolutely phenomenal force within the stage hypnosis community. Love him or hate him, and I know there's some people that do not like him, but you know, he's very good at what he does, and he's got some great stories that can help the development of other hypnotists as well. Andre, have you interviewed Justin Trans? No, but like I say, I mean, Justin's a great guy, and I consider him as much of a friend as you can have within this industry. So at some point he is going to be on. He has said that. It's just getting the timings right. I was going to try and push him between now, but between now and the new year is not a good time. I want to make sure he's got a good run up to Justin's show as well. Jason's a good friend. Jason. Brian Powers is a good guy. See, Brian Powers is it's not a name I'm familiar with. Now, and this is the thing as well, is sometimes I don't want to you know, these guys out there that are absolutely smashing it out of the park that I've not heard of, just like there's lots of guys out there that have not heard of me. So sometimes, you know, they can watch this and feel like I've not contacted them out of rudeness or anything like that. Not at all. So yeah, if you know someone that you'd love to have on this show, drop them a message and let them know, because I want people to see this as a real great collection of stage hypnotists and their stories and their journey and their learnings. And in exchange for that, if they've got something that they want to promote, such as a book or a training or anything like that, then we always try and do that and put a link into the comment section to help them as well. Because, you know, giving up 40 minutes of your time, for some people, that's time taken away from their family, from their friends, from their business or anything else like that. So it is important and it is valued as well. We'll encourage Michael C. Anthony. Yes, please do. I spoke to Michael a while ago, but then the communication kind of dropped off a little bit as well. I don't know if I was talking to him or someone that was running his social media. Again, I know Michael's got his Stage Hypnosis University course that has got out there, so it'd be great to have him come on and talk about that. I don't want this show to become massive sales pitches for trainings. That's not what it's about. It's about giving value. But you know, if you're giving value and you have a product that you want to flog as well, then I'm happy to kind of balance that out. And you know, Michael's smashing it online. You know, I see his promotions, his sponsored listings everywhere, and it's nice to see when I get a few different guests on, and they speak highly of somebody, and they kind of speak highly of a training as well. It perks my interest up. And it's giving value to the community as well, that people can see that, you know, that's a good thing. So yes, absolutely, please do encourage him. Natasha, only just connected with him. I know Richard through Michael, but I'm yet to actually speak to Jason. Oh, Jason Lynette. I've spoken to Jason. I need to kind of chase him back up again as well. Jason's again a phenomenal hypnotist. So guys, again, next week, what I'm going to propose, and it'll be quite interesting, is we're going to do very similar to tonight, but next week I'm going to put a link up. So next week, if you guys want to come on, we're going to do like a shotgun round. So if you've got something that you want to say or promote or wish other people messages, we'll have a link so people can kind of jump on for 5 minutes as well. From January, we will be changing the thumbnails. It's going to be a slightly different format, round about the same time as well. We've got some amazing, I don't know what that is. Yes, we've got some amazing hypnotists joining us from Australia as well, which is always really time-wise, that's difficult for me because I think it works out later at night for me, but really early in the morning for them. So again, it's about getting the timings right as well. Asad Mecca, do you know what? He's a phenomenal hypnotist. His show Hip Prov with Colin Mockra, I've seen it a couple of times now at the Edinburgh Fringe. Great hypnotist, really polished show. I have reached out to him a couple of times, but he's not got back to me about it yet. But yeah, if anybody knows him, it would be great for him to kind of talk about his stuff, because again, it's slightly different. And unfortunately, I kind of get that as well, because if you are putting something out there that's slightly different, there is the fear that it's just going to be copied and stolen. But I do believe that it'd be very difficult for someone to copy the way that he does it at the level that he does it. So there shouldn't really be a fear with that. But yeah, Assad's a great hypnotist, and I believe another Canadian. What is it with Canada? Canada and hypnotist is just, they must put something in the water. So yeah. I'll jump on next week as long as it's not just me. There you go. Everyone's going to jump on now. So yeah, so it'd be great to see you guys next week. From January, like I says, we're just awesome. And Richard, you especially, have been a great support for me as we've developed this kind of channel along the way. So thank you for that. I think you know what I'm on about there as well. Paul Ramsey, yes, you can copy a concept, but you can't copy craftsmanship. Absolutely, Paul. And that's it. Craftsmanship is when you do something repeatedly and hone and fine tune it so it's polished. That's what we've all got to try and do. That's what I try and do with my shows. That's what anybody tries to do with their shows, hopefully. Jason Nobby Morgan, Welsh hypnotist for the win. Do you know what? Wales is another place that's got some great hypnotists. And it would be nice to try and get on some of the guests that we couldn't get on in the past due to technical issues. There's nothing worse than trying to explain to someone how to go live whilst you're live. That really does put the pressure on. That's the same feeling, guys, and you'll know it. That feeling when your volunteers aren't going where you want them to be and you want the earth to swallow you up. That's exactly the same when you see the person in the background ready to go live and then they just disappear, gone forever. Do you know what? Jason Obi Morgan as well, I have to say, he's the guy that originally kind of forced me to come online and do this stuff. And you know what? I always thanked him for it, but then he's used it to blackmail me and made me go into like quarries in Wales with this live streaming stuff and live streaming event that he does. And you know what? He's helped me develop a thicker skin. A lot of people think I'm quite precious because I like to be warm and comfortable and I like my luxuries. Jason put me in a little cabin in the cold, in the wet, in the forest, in the middle of Wales. But we created something really different as well for him down there. So that was really great. So thank you for that. Question for fellow stage gurus. Is anyone else out there physically exhausted and even sore the day after a show? Andre, that's such a great question. I call it a hypnotic hangover. A couple of days after a show, I am completely drained. And it feels like a hangover for me. And I think it's because of the chemicals, the adrenaline, the rush, the excitement, the fear, all of those things. And if I've had a heavy weekend of shows, 3 or 4 shows, literally Monday or Tuesday, I am exhausted, like you said. So yeah, I remember bringing this up in on one of the forums once, and somebody told me I was stupid. So I was like, no, there's definitely something to it. So yeah. That time when you were in the mud, that was pretty fun. Yes, Richard, that was the one. That was just, caked in mud. But Jason puts on a great event and raises some money for charity as well. But they take 4x4s and make them climb up walls and mountains and all sorts of stuff. It's the manliest thing I have ever done. And that, to be fair, has come from this. It's come from doing these live streams and learning the technology and, figuring out how to put internet in the middle of the forest. And Natasha's put Grant. Man up, Grant. Jason is one of the very few people that knows that I snore like a trooper. I think he was actually threatening to put a pillow over my face when he let me stay in his caravan. I was a bit worried actually staying in Jason's caravan because when I've gone in, it coated everything. It was like a scene from a murder scene. All the seating, all the tables, everything had been covered with bed sheets in order to stop any spread of any muck, I think. I spoilt you in caravan. Yes, you did. Underfloor heating. Bless. I was aching for days after your last show. Could have had something to do with carrying speakers and stages and stuff. Yes. Yes. I mean, that's it. I mean, sometimes I do shows where I have to put everything in a full install. So stage, backdrop, lighting, sound, the lot. And, you know, you learn a lot about what's physically possible from that. But I do like to just turn up and speak on my microphone. So, guys, do you know what? I've really enjoyed tonight. Next week, it'd be really good for you guys to, you know, think of a question you want to ask live, or a message you want to give out to the community or something like that. And please do, like I say, reach out to people that you know that would be great guests, and let me know as well, and we'll get them on. We'll also kind of put together like a once a month something where we are kind of talking on a specific topic, whether it be marketing for, because there's loads of stuff out there for hypnotherapists, and you know, and a lot of it is transferable over to us as well. But I think as entertainers, you know, there's different ways that we do need to market sometimes. So we can look at specifics of marketing on Facebook, on websites, on social media, on you know, there's lots of topics, and we have lots of experts within this community that can kind of help with that. Thanks to all of you. Merry Christmas. Yes, guys. Yeah, Merry Christmas from me as well. It's always a weird time of year, this. I will be back on again next week. Again, like I said, there'll be no guest next week. It'll just be us, so you guys can be the guests as well. I might put a time on for Jason Nobby Morgan, though, because you know what the Welsh are like, they can't half talk. Yes. Merry Christmas and COVID-free 2022 for all. Absolutely. Guys, do stay safe. Don't forget, wash your hands for 20 seconds and hum happy birthday, whatever it is. Thank you very much for sharing 2021 with me. And let's together make 2022 absolutely fantastic. There we go. It's so nice. We all love you, God. Merry Christmas. Listen, it's all about you guys. Thank you very much, guys. I'll just put up a quick, I was going to put a link up to something. I can't remember what it was now. Let me just put that up there. There is a link. That's to the YouTube page. That's to something else. And that's to something else. That was the link I was going to put up earlier. Yeah, there is a link there to all the book recommendations from all the guests. Yes, if you buy a book from there, I do get a small affiliate fee. I think it's something like 10p. Nothing to retire about, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. That's the important thing. And please do have a look through some of that playlist on some of the people we've had on in the past as well. There is some amazing people with some amazing golden nuggets of information there for you. Guys, that's it from me. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, however you celebrate Christmas. Try not to eat too much on Christmas Day. And I shall see you again soon. Take care, and thank you for 2021.